When in doubt, yes it out. Hello everybody, welcome to Jumping in an Elevator, the podcast. I just left out a word. I said jumping in an elevator. Jumping in an Elevator, the podcast where I full stop. How are we today? On this fine day or night, not time zonist, you know what I mean. Great, fantastic. Special hello to Charlie. Thank you for being one of my top tier patrons. My wish for you today is that you're not pulling threads. What I mean by that is I had a pair of shorts, running shorts, keyword running. That's something we'll be talking about later. Yes, I'm back in my running era, everybody. Excellent. Many things to be discussed. Yes, I hope you're not pulling threads, Charlie, because... Oh, that was my stomach. Did you hear that? That was so sick and twisted. I'm really hungry, guys. Anyway, let's keep going. So I was pulling on a thread because it was just there on the pants. And I was like, I'm going to pull it. I'm going to do it. It's a fun activity to pull threads. Sue me. Started pulling. It just kept going. And I had to make a decision. Am I going to cut this thread? Am I going to tie a knot? Or am I going to keep pulling? And in the spirit of the Olympics and perseverance and trying your best, I kept pulling the thread. And I destroyed that piece of clothing. So that was fun. So Charlie, don't do what I do. And please stop pulling threads on your clothes. Fantastic. Here's a quick run through of what we're going to be talking about. The return of the running era. My Spotify developments. iJustine. The Circle. For some reason, I want to talk about 4K resolution. Sure, why not? That feels very relevant to how the podcast started off, like telling you things you wish you knew more about, but you didn't want to research them yourself. So we've really gone full circle, haven't we? Then I want to talk about the Olympics. Then we're going to call my sister. Yes. This is a new segment that I'm starting on the podcast where I call someone. I don't know if this is going to happen every episode or like every couple of episodes or something, but I'm going to call my sister and we're going to have a chat about fashion. Fashion. Looking good and feeling fine. Slow. And the fashion that we'll be talking about is related to the Olympics, opening ceremony specifically. And then I kind of want to touch on this Grimes Azalea Banks tweet that I saw. There's a lot of Grimes content coming out at the moment. I think she's probably going to be releasing an album or a single because that's what happens when there's randomly a lot of information about an artist, something's coming out. Why is Popgrave tweeting about J-Lo? Probably because she has music coming out. Boom. Okay, so let's get started. Running. Guys, I'm back in my running era. Oof. It's been a long time coming. I think I've been referring to the return of the running era. Don't forget, I famously fell in the hole a few months ago. Literally, spiritually, figuratively, all of it, metaphorically even. And it was a tough time. It was documented on the podcast. We know it was a tough time. Then with lockdown, LOCHDOWNE, I think this is lockdown 5, I think. And this is like the second week of the lockdown. I don't know, time is not arbitrary. The calendar is arbitrary. I think one time on the podcast I said time is arbitrary. That's incorrect. The concept of time is not arbitrary. The way that we measure time is somewhat arbitrary in a sense that it's just made up. It's made up in a way that it helps us understand the world around us. Boom. A little knowledge drop. I've also decided I might just start adding sound effects to the podcast like Nikki did on Queen Radio. So let me try that again. The calendar and clocks are just ways of us understanding the world around us. Great. I hope you enjoyed that sound effect because I'm sure I enjoyed editing it in. Why am I talking about this? Because I'm talking about a running era. Okay, so in lockdown, gosh, I'm speaking so fast. Because I've been running so fast. I can't run on the treadmill. I've been running on the treadmill for the last few weeks because I didn't want to fall in holes because famously fell in the hole. So during lockdown, I've decided to go out running on the streets again. It's true. I love it and I hate it. There's a lot of hate for it in a sense that I hate that so many people can see me and I can't control how many people can see me. Whereas at the gym, I know where to go in the gym so that the least amount of people see me. And the people that see me just recognize me as a runner. You know, they're like, "Ooh, he's really just going for it on that treadmill at 12 speed." It's true. But out in public, it's just disastrous. I could run past Troye Sivan and that would be embarrassing. I could run past Chloe Ting. She's also from Melbourne. That would also be embarrassing. I hate that anyone could see me running. That's my worst nightmare. Imagine if you're just like out having a little quarantine walk and then you see that YouTuber that talks about Lady Gaga running past with ultra red face. Actually, you'd probably think, wow, that's so inspirational. Let me go for a run too. Hashtag Mike's Run Club. Circle send message. But yes, I've been running outside and I'm nowhere near as fast as I used to be. I was kind of getting it done last year. I blamed that on running away from all my problems and running away from dealing with mental health issues. This year, the running is because I want to get fit. I want to have a hashtag hot girl summer. So that's what the preparation is for. I've been running 4 kilometers, which is, you're probably like, ew, that's nothing. Disgusting, ill flop. And that may be true. But 4 kilometers after not running at all for months, that's a little bit girl boss. Let me have that win. So it's been 4 kilometers. Been trying to cut it down time-wise. I want to get it under 5 minutes per kilometer. So it's like 20 minutes for a 4K run. And then when I get to that point, I'm almost there. I'm a few seconds off. And then I'm going to up the distance because the goal, I want to be able to run like 10Ks. I've never been able to run 10Ks. The most that I've run was like 6 or 7Ks during first year of working in corporate when I was just angry. I was very angry a lot because work was on my nerves, you know, and I just wanted to leave work, go to the gym and just run on the treadmill. And I did. And I ran 6 to 7 kilometers. It was a whole thing. It was a different era. It was a different time, different album release, rollout, you know the vibes. But yes, that's the goal. I would like to run 10 kilometers. If you want to join me on this journey, feel free. In addition to me going through my running era or reinstating my running era, in that process, I've been trying to hone in on what songs I like to listen to while running. I made a new running playlist the other day. And I've also been listening to some songs that were not released. So some Charlie XCX unreleased songs. Also thinking Slater Gimme More remix, or Lana Del Rey Queen of Disaster, or New Body Nicki Minaj verse only. Don't hear the rest of the song, it sucks. Only the Nicki verse is good. Lady Gaga 2009 VMAs performance, famously taken off YouTube by MTV. Because apparently the fake blood was too much for some people to handle. When there's like literal videos of people getting severely injured on YouTube. But Lady Gaga with fake blood at the 2009 VMAs is just too much for the girls to handle. Ugh. It is on Vimeo. But am I on Vimeo? No. So what now? This is what you're going to do. You're going to download the song and then, or the performance as an MP3 file, and then you're going to upload it to Spotify and download it on your phone. It's a whole process. It's very exciting. So this is what you're going to do. I'm going to give you the rundown on how to add local files from your computer to your phone so you can listen to them at all times, because let me just tell you this right now. Just prepare yourself for this. Listening to Lady Gaga VMA's performance while at the grocery store or the supermarket, there's just something about that. Something about you makes me feel like a dangerous woman, you know? Ariana said it. Amidst all of these flashing lights, I pray the fame won't take my life. Lady Gaga. The flashing lights, she was talking about the broken lights at the supermarket. Read between the lines, people. Keep up. Come on. So what you're going to do is you go into Spotify on your computer, and in the settings or preferences, can't remember what it's called, there's like a thing to add local files or include local files. So you select that, then you need to pick the file. So I made my own special file so I would import the correct songs. Then you put the song files in there. They appear on your Spotify. Then you add a playlist. Like make a new playlist, put those songs in the playlist. Mark the playlist for offline. Download the songs on the computer. You have to download the songs on the computer, which doesn't even make sense that you have to do it, but you have to do it, trust me. Then you go on your phone on the same network that the computer's on. Then go to the playlist, download the playlist on your phone, then it should work. If you followed all those instructions, it should work. It took me a long time. Also, why is my chair squeaking again? I literally just DW40'd this bitch not long ago. How much lubricant do you need? It acts like it's working every day of the year. Well, I mean, technically it is because I do be sitting in this chair a lot. I truly just be sitting. But at the end of the day, aren't we all just sitting in life? So true. So true. Next thing. We're really steamrolling through these today. Hello, short episode of the podcast. iJustine. If you are a TikTok user, I was going to say if you're a TikTok user, you probably know about this, but then I don't think that's true because I think it's very dependent on what kind of content you're being served on TikTok. Me personally, I'm getting a lot of iJustine memes at the moment. If you're not familiar, iJustine is one of the original YouTube girl bosses. She is the girlie who was reviewing all the iPhones, all the MacBooks, the iMacs, everything. She was lining up. It was a cultural event when iJustine went to the launch of a new iPhone. Now, all of a sudden, TikTok has decided that she's the person to stan and make memes about. And they're quite funny. They're ridiculous and stupid. But also, the songs that they're using are cupcake remixes. I don't know if I want to say them. I think if you know, you know, and if you don't, you can do your own research on that. DYOR. I need to start dropping some DYORs in text messages. I think that would be quite powerful. Just for me to be like, DYOR. Someone asked me a question. DYOR. My mum texts me, how many cases in Victoria? DYOR, mum, sorry. Why am I talking about that? iJustine. Yes. So in addition to the iJustine memes coming up on my TikTok For You page and me interacting with them because I like them, I'm also getting a lot of Y210s content. Now, I didn't realize Y210s was a thing until it repeatedly came up on the For You page. So I guess that's what it's called. The 2010s is called the Y210s. Because we had Y2K, Y210s, I guess. Doesn't really make sense. I mean, I thought the 2000s to 2010 was called the noughties. So where does that leave us for the 2010s? I like Y210s. It sounds cool. Also, me saying I thought blah, 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 just reminded me of that Gemma Collins clip where she's like, I thought gruel was made up for Oliver Twist film. When Big Brother said gruel, I thought that was made up for Oliver Twist film. Forgive the sudden Gemma Collins reference as to be expected at this point. Of course, that's from Celebrity Big Brother, CBB 17 from 2016, UK Celebrity Big Brother. Yes. If you haven't watched that, remember to watch that, please. That's important. If you take anything away from this podcast ever, it's to watch that season of Big Brother. You can probably find it online. You didn't hear that from me. So Y210's aesthetic. I've decided that I love Y210's music, early Y210's music, as you can probably see from the amount of stuff that I've said on my channel about the early 2010s in terms of Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Nicki, all that kind of stuff. A lot of what I've been talking about recently with pop culture is related to that. And I think I've decided that's my niche. Y210s. I'm a Y210s extraordinaire. It's true. Why lie? Donatella, I'm a rich bitch. I'm the upper class. Donatella, great song. Art Pop, great album. I need to stop talking about art pop randomly. Let's continue. The Circle. The Circle. The TV show The Circle. So I think I mentioned this last week that I was watching The Circle. I finished season 2, so I've watched season 1 and season 2 of the US one because that's what was recommended to me. I know there are other versions of it. I think there's a French one that's apparently very good. But I watched the US one and I thought it was really good. So I'm going to talk about that now. So, the concept of The Circle, what we'll do is I will give my kind of description of the show and then we'll go and read the Wikipedia page because there's also some tea on there. Wikipedia's always got the tea. So, what happens in this show, The Circle, is 8 people go into an apartment building. And it's one person per apartment building, and the goal is to be the most popular person on the circle. Now, there's a few things here to discuss. The girlies in the apartments can only talk to each other through this like pseudo AI called The Circle. So it's like talking to a TV screen, basically. There's like a few TV screens around, and they're always mic'd up, blah 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 blah. And then there's also cameras everywhere, but that is not broadcasted to the other members of the circle. The people in the other apartments is just for us as viewers to see. And they talk to each other, they flirt with each other, they play games and stuff, and they try and be the most likable person because the person who's the most popular at the end wins the prize money, which I think is $100,000, but that now escapes me. No, I think it's $100,000. That sounds about right. It's interesting because it starts off people vote for the most popular people in terms of who they've connected with the most or generally who they think is the most popular person. But then as it goes on, people start to vote strategically because if someone's been consistently up the top, you probably want to bring them down a little bit because you don't want them to be at the top of the end because that means you won't win and they'll win. Now the voting system, so if there's 8 people, they all vote for each other. Then the top 2 most popular people are called the influencers. And the influencers pick someone to vote out. That's loosely the kind of elimination mechanism. But it's not always like that. This show's quite volatile in the sense that they always change it. But that's what keeps it interesting. And I like that. But in terms of eliminations, it's mostly influencers voting people out, or sometimes randomly it'll be the person with the least votes or with that's voted the least popular or least likable will be voted out instantly. Next thing to discuss. Since no one can see you and you're only communicating through messages and there's like pictures on your profile that people see when they talk to you, you could 100% catfish as someone else. And that's one of the great things about the show because it adds another level of drama. It's not just like Big Brother, which is social gameplay and social hierarchy stuff. It's like that, but with catfish. And I love it. It's so entertaining. I think if I went on it, which I do want to go on, if I wasn't playing myself, I would catfish as a middle-aged lady. During high school, my friend Jacob and I, sometimes we would just like message each other pretending to be middle-aged ladies. Be like, hey, Gwen, how's John and the kids? Say hi to blah blah for me. Upon reflection, that probably wasn't a normal thing to do. But it was fun and it set me up to do the Circle Australia. So, producers, get me on there. With quickness and haste, I will do that one in a heartbeat. So then, in addition to there being catfish, when someone gets eliminated, they get to go meet someone. And by doing so, they might meet a catfish, or the person that they're meeting might meet a catfish in a sense that you who got eliminated was catfishing. I know the grammar in that sentence was wrong, but hopefully you understood what I meant. in terms of the seasons that I watched, I liked season 1, but season 2 was just so good. Season 2 of The Circle US, fantastic. Gonna have a little bit of a spoilers discussion now. So there were your classic catfish cases, in a sense that there was a guy playing a girl, there was this woman playing her husband, there was Lance Bass's assistant pretending to be Lance Bass, which was fun. What else do we have? We had an older guy playing a young guy. He actually did very well. Then we had 2 of the eliminated catfish. So the Lance Bass assistant and the guy playing the girl, they got voted out at the same time in like a spooky double elimination. And then they came back and they were both catfishing as an older guy who was a psychic, which was fun because they knew stuff about the people they were talking to because they'd already played the game. So then they could actually like say things and everyone be like, oh my God, you are a psychic. And Chloe from Too Hot to Handle, I think. Yeah, Too Hot to Handle was on it. She was a lot of fun. Enjoyed her on the show. She's one of those people that are just good at reality TV. If you think like Tiffany Pollard, Gemma Collins, I think she has potential to be one of those types of people that are always on reality TV and always bring something, like bring the comedy, bring the laughs, babes. But yeah, I liked the drama that came out of the show. There was always something going on. I have several questions about how it was made. To start with, who's writing up the messages? Because I don't think the AI was that good. No way. So there had to be someone listening to each person all day and then waiting for them to say, Circle, open a group chat with blah, 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 blah. And then, hey babes, just checking in to see how you're going after last night's vote. Red heart emoji, Circle send message. Because there'd have to be someone writing up that message in real time on the TV. Because they made it look like this happens in real time, and it would have to be in real time for them to talk to the TV in the way that they were. So that's one of my first questions. How did that all work? Second question, obviously we saw a filtered version of the show since it was one episode kind of represented one day. And if there's 8 people and they all are talking to each other throughout the day, they can't put every single conversation in. So I wonder how much talking there actually was throughout the show that wasn't put in, and what were they talking about? Because they weren't allowed to have mobile phones and they couldn't like watch TV or anything. So all they could really do was talk to each other and read books, which that's kind of giving medieval. Think about it. Talk to each other and read books. The medieval of it all. Kind of cottagecore. Why is that me in lockdown? Except I can go on my phone and watch TV, which is predominantly what I do. I love the Olympics at the moment. Olympics in lockdown, very, very useful, very handy, very planned. Thank you, Tokyo, for doing that for me. So I popped on over to the Circle Wikipedia page. And let me read out the description that we have here. So, The Circle, sometimes called The Circle US to differentiate it from international versions, is an American reality competition series produced by Studio Lambert, remember that, and Motion Content Group. That first aired on Netflix in January 2020. It's based on a British TV series of the same name. Alongside the American version, Netflix launched different versions in France and Brazil as part of a partnership between Netflix and All3 Media. Huge. The series bills itself as a game based around social media with the concept that anyone can be anyone in the circle. So true. And that's just like bloody Instagram, isn't it, at the end of the day? It has been compared to Big Brother and Catfish in format, as well as Black Mirror episode Nosedive with the concept of ratings. I haven't seen Black Mirror, but I think I've seen bits of that episode. Is that the one with the lady and she goes in the airport and shit and she yells at the girl and then her rating goes down? That's literally the worst description ever. That's kind of Boots, kind of weak Charlie, you know? Within the show, contestants are isolated with their own apartments and can only communicate to the other contestants via the circle ostensibly a computer program that transcribes their messages into text as if in a social media app. Me when I lie. Someone was writing those messages, I just know it. Contestants are thus able to present completely different identities to the others to hopefully win them over. Every so often, the group of contestants are asked to rate their fellow contestants, with the top vote getters becoming the influence of the circle, giving them the power to block one contestant from the circle, eliminating them from the game. Fantastic. Oh shit, I just hit the microphone. Sorry for the sudden jump scare, everyone. Also, I think I want to do space buns. This is unrelated, but I think I want to do space buns. I see space buns in my future. Anyway, let's get back to this. So they mention who the winners are. Okay, it got renewed for a third season. Ooh, me on the Circle US season 3. It's more likely than you think. Now, you might have remembered when I said keep note of who produced it. Produced by Studio Lambert. So the executive producers, one of them is named Stephen or Stephen Lambert. Now this guy, Stephen Lambert, is an English television producer and executive who works in Britain and America. He launched the TV formats Wife Swap, Faking It, The Secret Millionaire, Undercover Boss, Tattoo Fixers, and Gogglebox. Let that sink in. The same guy that made Wife Swap and Gogglebox and Undercover Boss made The Circle. Well, well, well. Isn't that interesting? That's actually a lot of pretty good reality TV shows that he has under his belt. Everybody say thank you, Mr. Lambert. Could I be referring to Adam Lambert? Could I be referring to thanking him for going on Pretty Little Liars season 3 Halloween episode when he's singing on the train and Aria gets bolted into a box and nearly pushed off the train? Thanks, Adam Lambert. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is completely unrelated to anything else in this podcast, but that's just how my brain works. And it is, what is the difference between HD and 4K? Because, to make a long story short, I shoved a blank up my blank. No. What happened was, when lockdown was announced, I decided I needed to get another monitor because the monitor that I have pisses me off. It's well documented on the podcast. I have another monitor at this working space that I work out of, so I brought that one home. So I have a HD monitor, and then I have what I thought was a 4K monitor, but it's not. I think it's a Ultra HD monitor, but sometimes Ultra HD means 4K. Anyway, basically, I need to buy a 4K monitor because I'm using this monitor for the PlayStation. It doesn't really make sense for me to use a HD monitor with the PlayStation because it exports in 4K. So why would I not play games in 4K, you know? Otherwise, I'll just buy a PS4. Absolutely not. So I Googled it, of course. So as we know, HD is 1920 by 1080. But 4K, that's where the T is. So I went onto the Bank, or BenQ. Bank? Why does that sound weird? Bank website. What is Full HD? Both Full HD and 4K Ultra HD represent the resolution of a display. The term resolution is considered as the pixel count in digital. There's a spelling error. They said digital. Digital imaging. Oh my god, got 'em. I love finding like a spelling error on an official website for some big brand. It's like, yeah, you're not that big and important, are you? You don't even know how to spell digital. Got 'em. So yeah, Full HD is 1920 by 1080 pixels, which is what you're watching on YouTube if you watch something in 1080. What is 4K though? 4K UHD refers to a horizontal screen display or image resolution in the order of 4,000 pixels. This is kind of confusing because it's not like it just says in the order of 4,000 pixels, girls. What does that mean? What is different from a Full HD is that the specifications of 4K Ultra HD vary in professional fields and thus results in different definitions of horizontal pixels and vertical pixels. So that's where the confusion came from. I was like, 1920 by 1080 is Full HD, but 4K can have different versions. Take home displays, for example. The 4K Ultra HD specifications refer to one of the two high definitions, 3840 by 2160 pixels and 4096 by 2160 pixels. Spill. Through the developments over the years, major 4K UHD displays support 3840 by 2160, and only a few products support 4096 by 2160, but they're still 4K. So what now? Did that answer the question? What is the 4? It's in the order of 4,000 pixels, but there's no 4,000. Okay. That achieved nothing. We're going to leave that. Maybe I'll bring that in next episode. It's like an ongoing thing on the podcast. Will I ever work out what Full HD and Ultra HD and 4K mean? I think I've also spoken about this on the podcast before. It's just sick and twisted because I can't work it out. And I know this shit. Like this genre of shit. I should know it, but I don't. It's getting sad and upsetting. Next thing I want to talk about, the Olympics. I love the Olympics. Look, every 4 years or 5 years this time, I'm an expert in all things sport. For the rest of the time, could not care less. You could not pay me to watch swimming. You could not pay me to watch cycling. And yet when the Olympics come around, there's 16 days of me watching 160 kilometers of road racing on bikes. I'll watch all the swimming there is. Shout out to the Australians that won gold in the pool, as you should. Stunning behaviour. Love the gymnastics. Love the equestrian. Love the slalom. Love the athletics. The girls really are running, aren't they? And I love when they throw things. When people throw things, I'm like, yeah, you do that. Love that. And the shooting, archery. Every time I see someone use any kind of aim. So archery, the air pistols. The air pistols. Yeah, exactly. And the air rifles. I could do that. Not to like make it sound like these people are doing something that's not difficult. It's obviously very difficult. But I could see that in my future, that I could become really good at air rifles and win an Olympic medal for air pistoling. Is that what it's called? The air pistolification of MicsMike. That has a nice ring to it. Truly. So yes, I watched the Olympics opening ceremony. It was obviously toned down because that's like the mood at the moment. It'd be kind of weird if they were over the top when everyone's like not really having a great time worldwide. But I think they did a good job. It was weird just not having anyone in the stadium, but obviously it had to be like that. I liked the visuals that they offered. There was a really cool segment where someone was going through and making all the pictograms, I think they're called. Pictograms, which is the icons for all the sports. That was cute. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out on YouTube. I'm sure it's on there somewhere. And that actually leads me into this next section that we're going to do. We're going to live call my sister on the podcast because I messaged her and I was like, what do you want to talk about fashion-wise on the podcast? Because she knows a lot about this stuff. And she wanted to talk about the dress of the singer at the Olympic Games. So let me just get this reference up. I'll put it on the screen as well. If you're listening to this, let me describe. To me, it looks like rainbow rose cotton candy vibes. It's giving rainbow loofah, but like high fashion rainbow loofah, paddle pop, lifesavers, Met Gala. Those are the key words that I'm getting from that. I think it's time to ring my sister and see what she has to offer to this conversation. This is all live on air. Why am I nervous? Why am I still wearing glasses? So many things. She better answer.
Hello.
Oh my God, hello. Is this Emma?
Hello. How are you?
Say hello to the people on the podcast.
Hello, everyone.
What's the tea on this dress? What do you know?
Oh, there's no tea. I just like the dress. So this is the one from the Olympic opening ceremony, right?
Yeah, the singer, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Is her name Misia?
Yeah.
Misia?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was designed by a Japanese designer, and it's made out of ruffles, like tulle ruffles, and then they hand paint them, so like with a spray gun. Yeah.
Nah, back it up. We have to talk about this.
Yeah.
It's ruffled.
Yeah, that's all tulle ruffles.
Wouldn't that be like an obscene amount of work?
Yes.
How long would that take? As a professional, as a fashion professional in the industry, how long do you think it would take?
Countless hours. I don't even know. I couldn't even give you an estimate. It would take so long.
Are we talking like days?
Weeks, months.
Really? Would it be heavy?
Yeah. Probably.
What's it made out of?
I would say it's probably made out of silk tulle, which is like a really fine mesh netting fabric.
Is that the stuff that's in tutus?
Yeah. But like, you think of like tutus and stuff, that's usually like quite a coarse netting, like quite heavy and rough.
Mm-hmm.
Not rough, but you know what I mean. Whereas this one, you can get like really fine tulle. So I think this is like a much finer one, so it wouldn't be as heavy, just based on the volume. That's it.
Interesting. And then you said that it's spray painted?
Yeah, so I can't remember which Instagram I saw it on. It was either the designer's Instagram, so they're Tomo Koizumi.
Yeah.
So they're the designer, or then they link to the actual dressmaker, and they're called Treat Mason.
Okay.
I don't remember which account it was on, but they had a video of somebody actually spray painting another tulle dress with like this spray paint gun, and it looked amazing.
That's so cool. It kind of looks like a snow cone. You know when like the flavour in the snow cone goes to like the bottom and just the top is ice?
Yeah, it does look like that.
Okay, well since we've got you on the line, the girls are just clamouring for fashion advice. They need fashion advice, and I have not prepped you for this. I'm putting you on the spot, but I know that you'll perform under pressure because you just know this shit inside and out. So remember, there are people listening all around the world right now. So I want one outfit recommendation for summer and one outfit recommendation for winter. Go.
Oh no, I'm so on the spot right now. I don't even know what's happening.
How about I can give one and then you give one? Okay. So for summer, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a chunky sneaker. People are saying chunky sneakers are over. I don't think so. If you need to break into a run, what better way to do so than a chunky sneaker? Because you can serve looks and you can serve speed. So I'm saying chunky speaker. I mean, bring a speaker, why not? Chunky sneaker, matching sock color, that's key. Because it makes it look like it's one item. Hashtag Balenciaga shoes. Sock darts.
That sounds very, very good.
Something to think about. So that's my recommendation for summer. What's yours?
For winter...
for summer.
Oh, for summer.
Yeah. Don't try and get away from summer.
No, I was going to say, like, similar to what you were saying, like, colour coordination. I feel like it's probably already happening and trending, but, like, just, like, they call it the monochrome aesthetics.
What colour, though?
So, like, you'd go with a single colour head to toe, but it doesn't have to be the exact same shade. So it could be blue, but you could mix, like, navy blue, baby blue, grey blue.
Okay.
Get me?
Yeah. So it's like you could have like a white shoe with blue notes on it. Then you could wear like a light blue sock and then like a different shade of blue pant.
Yeah.
That actually sounds super cute because you could wear a white shirt with it too.
Yeah.
And then it'd be like blues and whites.
Gradient.
That's, you actually snapped on that. I was unsure if you were going to come through and you did.
Yeah, same. I wasn't sure. But it turned out okay.
And that's what I mean by under pressure. All right, in terms of winter...
Oh, don't make me do this again. I don't know.
Okay, for winter,
Actually, I do have an idea. Okay, you go.
I'm saying I love oversized at the moment. If you follow me on Instagram, you would know that I love oversized. people have been replying to my story saying, why are you trying to be Billie Eilish with the oversize? Billie Eilish has not trademarked oversize, people. Let's just calm down on that. I love a big jumper partnered with not a baggy jean, just like the waist fits well, but the lower end of the pants is like not flared but loose. I like that look. It's kind of like skater vibes.
A straight cut leg.
Yes, the pants aren't oversized, but the jumper is. So I would say it's kind of like street oversize.
Yeah.
So I'm loving an oversized jumper. That's kind of what I'm trying to get to here. What about you?
Well, I think it's going to be all about accessories for winter.
So true.
So, like your hats, your scarves, your gloves, your belts, your bags, things like that. It just adds dimension. So I think that's going to be a really big trend.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I love that. Oh my God, this was actually successful. Thank you for coming through under pressure. I don't know. I just was like, what's Emma going to say? She's a loose cannon.
Yeah, and just to point out, you gave me about 5 minutes notice. So.
But as it should be. We're basically live on air. Good morning, America vibes.
Good morning, world.
All right, I'm going to hang up. So say goodbye to everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Okay,
Thanks
bye.
for having me on the show.
See ya. Well, there you go, people. There's some ideas for you in terms of fashion, summer and winter. Because as we said, I'm not hemispherist. I'm not time zonist. Everybody's welcome on the podcast. It's true. Now to completely shift again, the last thing I wanted to talk about was this tweet that popped onto my timeline mere minutes before I started recording from Pop Crave. Grimes says her new song 100% Tragedy is about defeating Azalea Banks. That is so loaded. So let's read the quote. Apparently Grimes wrote on Discord, "This song is about having to defeat Azalea Banks when she tried to destroy my life." That is so loaded. And then Azalea Banks screenshotted it and put it on her story. And she said, "Grimes def has some psychosexual obsession with me. I think it's bitterness because she doesn't have the musical capacity I have. Everything she does is out of pretentiousness and it comes out like that, while everything I do is out of natural swag and geniusness, LMAO." Now, that last bit, I think that's my new motto. Everything I do is out of natural swag and geniusness. Is geniusness a word? The geniusness adity. The geniusnessification of MicsMike. And then she also followed that up with, "Really thought I did you a favor by not responding to the subpoena. I just may happen to have all those extra text screenshots evidence laying around somewhere." Now, if you don't know what she's referring to, she's talking about when... Oh, this is such a long fucking story to just encapsulate it in 1 minute. Okay, here we go. Azalea Banks and Grimes were going to work on a song together. Azalea Banks went to Elon Musk's house to work on the song with Grimes since Grimes was dating Elon Musk. And while she was there, Elon Musk was doing some shit with Tesla and the share price. And she was waiting for Grimes and staying at this house, so she heard and saw all this shit happen. So then she was subpoenaed into the case when he was told to go to court for altering the share price of Tesla. Oh, I feel like I did not do justice to that. There's a whole story behind that. Maybe I'll make a follow-up YouTube video. I did make one on it a while ago, but I don't think it was very in-depth compared to the types of videos that I'm doing now. So maybe in the future I will do another one of those. But also, I don't want Azalea Banks to hate me. I like Azalea Banks' music, and I'm just worried that she'll hate me for some reason. I have no reason to say anything bad about Azalea Banks. But I'm worried that she would take something that I said in the YouTube video about that situation as slander, and that's not the goal. So maybe you'll see something about that, maybe you won't. The next video on the main channel is another like Y210s thing. I kind of want to do a deep dive on Lady Gaga. We shall see what happens there. Hashtag I love Lady Gaga, Italian flag emoji, pasta emoji, circle send message. I really enjoyed making this episode of the podcast. This was fun. Thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like. If you've got something to say, leave a comment. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, or la-di-da, feel free to leave me a review. Love that too. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you all soon. Peace out. Bye. Yeah.